So, Forza Motorsport coming out in what, a little over a month, around about that. Well, two release dates really, as I found out. There is the premium edition, which is the more expensive. I think it's £89 from the Microsoft store, but you get early access. In theory, you get 5 days earlier than the standard edition. So that comes out on the 5th of October, whereas the standard edition comes out on the 10th of October. So it's whether you want to pay the extra money to have the sort of 5 days. I possibly will. Obviously, being a content creator, YouTuber, it's more beneficial for me to get it as early as possible. So yeah, I'll possibly have it on the 5th, hopefully. But yeah, Forza, I mean, it holds dear to me. I'll always have a place for Forza. It's where I began. Forza 7, well, really it was playing Forza 7 back in the day on controller, not obviously sim rig and proper direct drive wheel and everything else. It was back when I was just sort of an Xbox controller player as such, and didn't even think twice about a sort of wheel and pedals until I think it was 2018. Forza Horizon 4 was going to be released, and I thought, well, why not? Let's go down the pedals and wheel route. And I remember I picked up a second-hand Thrustmaster TX with the two pedals, no load cell on them bad boys, and I remember they were. Looking back now, obviously I didn't know no better, but they were still a little bit sort of almost on and off, which was never good. Definitely took me a while to get used to it. Obviously the transition from controller as well. You know what I mean? And back then with Forza 7, it was literally nearly everything on. Traction control was on, ABS was on, racing line was on. I mean, this is going right the way back before, as I said, I sort of started to get the bug. But that was the start for me. Like I said, Horizon 4, it was just coming out. I thought, let's go wheel and pedals. I think I had a few friends that were on sort of wheel, and they were like, get a racing wheel, it's a lot better than controller. And Horizon come out, and I couldn't get on with it. I'll be honest, I could not get on with it with the wheel and pedals. It was so difficult. I think because it wasn't circuit racing, it was open world, and it was like the sort of tarmac, not circuits, but the tarmac sort of races that you did on Horizon, they were not too bad. It was the sort of off-road and gravel and grass and everything else. I just could not handle the cars. So I sort of lost interest quite quickly because I couldn't sort of get used to it. And I sort of jumped back to Forza 7, and I was like, right, I'm going to give this a go. I'm going to get used to it. I mean, transitioning from a controller to the wheel was big anyway. And then obviously I had to sort of transition from no racing line, no traction control, no ABS. So it was difficult, but I stuck with it. And like I said, and that's why sort of Forza 7, it is a special title for me. It got me into where I am now. So like I said, I'll always have a soft spot, and that's why I'm going to give Forza Motorsport a go, and this is why I hope it's going to be something special. I really do, because we need a game that, or sim title, we don't know obviously what way they're going with, that's got the multiple cars, got the multiple tracks like Gran Turismo, but obviously we haven't got Gran Turismo on Xbox. So but my sort of thoughts on it, really it needs to appeal to the more, not the sort of sim side, but it needs to appeal than just to the casual controller player, a bit like Forza 7 was, because back then when it came out, it was just sort of really controller. No one really had a sort of wheel and pedals, or if they did, they were on PC, and they weren't really going to go to Xbox and play on Forza 7. So I do hope that they've took that on board, and it's sort of I wouldn't say a 50-50. I'd say more, I would like to see it more sort of 60-40 towards a player on wheel and pedals, because there is a lot of us out here now that do race on wheel and pedals, and we just don't go on controller at all. So that's my first thing. Obviously the whole experience of the game, I just want to see. I know it's not going to be ACC, I know it won't go that direction because it's got to appeal to a mass market, but as I said, I still want to see it more. Simcade would probably be a bit like Gran Turismo. I think I've said before in my streams, I would be over the moon if it's like Gran Turismo. Gran Turismo definitely drives different from when I played it to ACC. Slightly different sort of style of driving. I definitely noticed that, but it was enjoyable with that. It wasn't sort of like a Forza 7 and very, as I said, yeah, arcadey. So sort of a simcade. So I think if Forza Motorsport is like a simcade, I think I would be happy. If it's like Gran Turismo 7, sort of the physics and everything else, or if it's better, I'd like I said, I'd be over the moon, and I will give it a go. So, but yeah, as I said, it needs to be that direction for me, because solely going on ACC, having a PC, going on Automobilista 2, going on all the sort of proper sim titles, I'm more now used to and tailored to the sim side of racing, not the arcade. So, but as I said, I'll give it a fair crack of the whip when it comes out, definitely. Obviously we'll have streams and everything else. I'll put videos up on my thoughts definitely once it comes out. So yeah, needs to be tailored to wheel support as much as controller. That's a big thing. I think Forza 7 was there was quite a few options for wheel, but to me some of them just didn't make sense at all. All these sort of like check boxes and little meter bars and whatever, you know what I mean, going from 0% to 100%. I didn't understand half of them, to be honest. Whether any of them did anything, I don't know. I mean, obviously I've got a Fanatec CL DD. I've got a lot of the settings actually in the wheelbase that I can adjust either via my PC or by my actual steering wheel. Why do I need too many sort of controls and switches and whatever in actual game? ACC have nailed it. You've got, what is it, about 5 different things that you can change, and that's it. That's enough. So yeah, definitely want to see more support with this game for the wheel. Online system, that's, for me, that's a biggie. I think on the sort of near the end of life of Forza 7, they were starting to get to grips with the online and the sort of penalty systems and everything else, because like ACC, it's, you end up getting taken out by someone, you end up losing your safety rating as well, where it's not your fault. At the end of the day, you're in the lead of a race, and somebody, a backmarker or whatever, who's a couple of laps down, decides to I'll just take him out. I mean, that needs to be addressed. That is a huge factor, because we like racing online at the end of the day, as well as sort of racing offline and everything else. So that to me is a massive part. They need to bring across what they started to implement at like I said, the end of life of Forza 7, and or even bring that over and perfect it so it works, so people will be penalised for blatantly taking other racers out, the actual genuine racers that want to race, and these guys that just the casual, we'll call them casuals, the casual racers. I'm not going to paint everyone with the same brush and say that they're solely controller players, because they might not be, but they're the casual. They're not the on it all the time and love racing and clean racing and everything else. So that's, like I said, that to me is a biggie. Liking the idea, obviously seen the videos out, liking the idea of the online race weekends when you're racing online, like ACC, with like free practice, then the qualifying, then the race. I do think that's a very good idea. Instead of just jumping into a race and then the race starts and you're sort of all over the place and everything else, it gives you a chance to sort of prep the car almost, or get used to the car, or get used to the track and the car, or tweak the tune and everything else. So these are the sort of things I want to see. I think a quick one as well, I know this was implemented on Gran Turismo 7, and then they took it away. It was the pay to win system. That's, to me, a big one. That to me is something I definitely don't want to see, and I think a lot of game creators have tried to utilise this, and then they've obviously come a cropper, because the players out there don't want to pay to win. at the end of the day. They're more, I think they're more happy to sort of, if they enjoy a game, grind the game to unlock all the cars, get credits and everything else, not have the system where, yeah, it's pay to win. The only way you can get on, the only way you can unlock cars, the only way you can sort of, yeah, get higher and higher, and whatever ranking system that Forza are going to have, that, yeah, it's pay to win only. I think that would be an absolute mistake. So, but yeah, one final thing as well, support. That to me is a biggie. ACC, and I hate to bang on about it, I really do, but ACC failed. They failed with the support, especially for console, and especially when they went to the next gen version of ACC. They failed massively. As soon as it was released, it was bugged. They then obviously had to implement the patches. They had to do this, had to do that, and it was just, to me, the support wasn't there. I know obviously, is it Turn 10? I think, yeah, Turn 10 off the top of my head. The creators of Forza are, to me, a bigger franchise, I think. So I don't see them neglecting the game. If there's any issues, I think they would get it rectified pretty quickly, to be fair, not sort of waiting over a week or 2 weeks for a patch to be created and everything else. I think that they will, yeah, implement stuff quickly. Remembering back to Forza 7, I remember that there was sort of a few bugs and everything else, and they did get them ironed out pretty quickly. So yeah, that's another, well, a final point. So, but yeah, no, I am looking forward to it, to be fair, I really am. And yeah, hopefully I'll be able to get the premium edition, and hopefully, yeah, it will get released on the 5th of October, and yeah, we can get into it, because I think it'd be nice that you can just grab a multitude of cars. As good as ACC is, you're limited to, obviously, yeah, the GT3s, the GT4s, and a couple of other cars, the cup cars and that, which are good to a point, but with all the tracks and everything else you've got, you just love to have, like, yeah, touring cars or other single make, or not, yeah, GT3, GT4. So having a title that comes out, a bit like Project Cars 2, but that was just, yeah, I think that was really good anyway, because it was a title that had a multitude of cars, different cars, from different eras and everything else, but it was also a simulator as such, not, yeah, a sort of arcade. So that's really what I'd like to see. I'd like to see more of the way of a sort of sim title or simcade, rather than the sort of arcade type Forza Horizon and stuff like that. And I think, yeah, in my mind, it'll appeal to a lot of people. And yeah, obviously the support for the wheel, and just, yeah, the whole general, the game does look good, I'll be honest, from what I've seen. The videos and the live streams and everything else, it does, the graphics and everything else, but graphics are only a part of a game. At the end of the day, yes, I like a game looking polished and the graphic looking good and everything else, but at the end of the day, if the game doesn't play well, and physics and everything else, then the longevity is not going to be there. But yeah, anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this sort of quick-ish video. Like I said, a lot of people on YouTube, a lot of content creators have had their say on the game, what they want to see and everything else. And like I said, I just thought I'd get my sort of 10 pence worth in before it get released. But like I said, I am looking forward to it. As I said, I hold Forza 7 dear to my heart. It got me into sim racing. And it definitely, yeah, got me into, obviously, yeah, racing properly with a wheel and pedals and everything else. So yeah, but anyway, guys, as I always say, thanks for tuning in, and yeah, I'll catch you on the next one.